What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Travis. Of course, this is TWA Motorsports, and today, well, it's kind of exciting because we're really kind of buttoning up the SS build. Running great, everything's working. We are finished with the tuning process. So he's getting ready to roll under there, take the wideband out. If you guys remember, we screwed that wideband in the pipe underneath. So once we get that out, we can go ahead and put our panels back in place. So we've got panels that are missing here because we temporarily tagged it in for power. We also, looped the wiring through the door. So we can get that completely out of here. And it's pretty much plug and play. We got to cut some zip ties. But the other thing we need to do is he got a shift light. And so we're going to try to install that today. Now we're going to cheat a little bit in the fact that this thing has already had a wire ran. You see this white wire right here? That is the one that you tag into, and you can see online it's in this front harness and the wire is always white. That is a tack feed is what that is. And so I left that in there when I took all the stuff out from under the dash. And so what we're going to do is we're just going to tie into that. So I'll show you the process as we go, but first we need to get the wideband out of the way. And all that wiring, I want that kind of out of our way before we start. We really don't need to do anything under the hood. We actually heard what sounded like maybe a bearing and one of the pulleys making noise when we shut it off is what we were looking at. So either way, we'll just kind of cut in and out and show you guys kind of the process, and maybe we'll get to show you hopefully the shift light working when we're all finished. It didn't take too long to run the wideband back out. Of course, it doesn't when you're taking stuff apart. It's always going back together. So Raptor is the version of shift light that we went with, guys. And so we're trying to figure out, we got the T-top out here. And obviously this guy, we got a new one of these because the other one was all cut up and gross. So we got a new one of these. I'm gonna have him clean this off. But we got to figure out, he kind of wants it up in the corner, which is where I like to put him too, like maybe up here in this corner. But the only way we're going to know truly is we're going to kind of loosely put this in. So I'm not going to clean it right now, but we're going to put it in here, and then we're just going to test fit and kind of see what looks the best, kind of where it fits the best. So I'm going to have to use two hands to put this thing in, and then we'll kind of set this up here. This is a pretty simple setup, guys. There's only 3 wires to this thing. You got a power, ground, and then obviously you have to feed it some sort of signal, which is that white wire, which, like I said, we left tucked under. We even left the panel off the bottom here so we could access that. And I'll grab a flashlight in a minute so you guys can see exactly what we're doing. But let's get this installed first. So ultimately, we got this thing loosely installed, but we really want to, he kind of wants it up here in this corner, kind of like this. And a lot of guys install them here in the vent. I'm kind of hit or miss on that. And so we hate drilling a new hole to mount this. So we're going to attempt to clean it really good with some alcohol on both sides, and we're going to see if we can two-sided tape it. I don't know whether it's going to work or not. My guess would be no, but we're going to give it a shot. So this is our plan right here up against the pillar where it's kind of out of sight, and we'll just use some 3M two-sided tape. Like I said, we're going to clean it up really well on both pieces, put that piece of sticky tape on here, and then hopefully set it and it works. And then we'll pull this back out, run the wires down. And actually I can probably, since the top isn't in, I can probably just sneak them around without pulling this thing completely out. Got it installed here, guys, with two-sided tape. Clean this panel up a little. It's got a couple nicks in it. It is used. I got it bolted back in the top, or the 2 screws. Got the line ran down, back behind, and then down to the bottom. So what we need to do now is we need to grab power, but we need to grab power when it's like the keys on. We don't want to, obviously, the shift light to be on all the time. And then I'll show you under the dash where I brought the wire through underneath. But essentially I'm going to hook up to the same ground that I had. I don't know why I moved the light on you guys. The same ground that I had to the 10mm that holds this little V-shaped bracket underneath. That's going to be my ground. My power, we're going to stab into the same spot we had, which is right underneath that 10mm fuse, the red fuse back there in the back. Then we're going to route it inside here. And then we're going to grab, obviously, the fuse cover, put it back in place, and of course the bottom of the dash. But I'll get you under there in a minute and show you once we get it all hooked up and kind of where my wire routed. Now we can take a look at what we've got. So you can see I've got, I know I should have used a red wire, but that's the one down there with the blue connector on it. It's the one we're going to tag into the fuse block up here. Got the ground, like I said, that is mounted up there. You can see it on that 10 millimeter. And then the white wire, guys, it's ran down by where the computer is on that fender over there. Comes down underneath the dash, and like I said, I left that there from prior installation. So at this point, tell you what, I haven't even tested it. Well, I guess I got to hook power up to it. We'll route this up, get some power, and then we're going to test it before we, tile this extra line up. So we're going to test it. We literally haven't tested it yet, guys. So we got the key in. Oh, we got light. We got light. It's got a cap on it. Anyway, so now we got to figure out how to program it. I don't really know how to do that. We'll just have to read through the instructions, but at least we've got power. So what that means is we can go ahead, he's got the parts all cleaned up here. We're gonna go ahead and get those things installed back under the dash. I'm gonna zip tie this stuff up, and we'll worry about programming it here in just a second. Okay, so he's saying to program this, you hold down both buttons, and then it shows 1. I don't know what the 1 means. What's it say? Up or down. It doesn't press up or down. Oh, it says 6.0, 6.2. Is that the RPM then?
Entries are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Okay, so maybe actually that was, we'll set it at like 3,000. And then he said the back button sets the gear. Oh. No, that makes sense. We're going to read a little more. Okay, trying again. If you hold both buttons down, it allows you to select the cylinder with the back button here. So not the one closest to the light, but the one in the back. Once we've done that, that holds the memory of 8 cylinders. So you can set it 1 through, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 8. And then press and release the up or down button to single step the cylinder. Okay, that's what I just did. So next, the shift point setting should be displayed all flashing. This is the shift setting that is stored in the memory. Maximum value is 20,000 RPM. We would have a problem if we were wrapping it out that high. Press and release the up down button of the single step or down in shift setting. So hold the button up to scroll fast, hold the button down to scroll fast down. So we're going to attempt to push it twice now that we got that set. And so I'm thinking this means 3,000. And so this would mean 3,200. So 3.2. So what we'll do is we're just going to leave it at 3,200 and let it annoy us. We're just going to see if it works. So we're going to actually, you know what? Let's lower it down to like 2,000. That way we're not like wrapping out the car in the garage. All right, we're going to start it up and see what happens. We actually got the shift light working. So now it turns out the plug wasn't plugged in well under the hood. Wouldn't you figure? But it's working now. We set it at like 1,000 RPMs, and as soon as we started, of course, it came on. So we're good now. It's actually reading. You actually have to set it at 4-cylinder mode, like I said, guys. Some of the older LS stuff requires you to set it that way. But either way, we're going to load another tune in it, and we'll go out and get some tests on the actual shift light itself. So here we are in the pitch black, because that's when we got done with this. Taking a ride for it, and I think it's set at what, 20. Take it up to what it's set at. We got the cap on it because it's blinding at night. Oh, did it change its setting, I wonder? No, you would be able to see it, I would think.
No, the cap's black.
Oh. Oh man, we're gonna have to get like a different color cap. It is blinding at night. Get up to that RPM again. Oh my gosh. Oh, well, it's working, and it's reading the actual RPM, so that's what we were going for. We'll turn it up. That's the best way to test it, so you're not revving it to 6,000 RPM in your garage. You know, you set it at 1,000, rev it up, and make sure it works. He's getting better at driving it. Thing sounds good, that's for sure. He's gonna pull it out. He'll probably make a liar out of me. He'll probably kill it. He's getting better. Let's hop in and see how much better he's gotten. So he's definitely getting better at driving a manual, that's for sure. Long ways we have come in a short amount of time. Still got some work to do, but it's definitely getting better. And he's moved the shift light down to like 3,000 RPM, I guess, just to look at it. I don't really know. When I was following him yesterday, he had a tail light out, so we replaced the tail lights and noticed there's some wiring back there for some aftermarket lights of some sort, but we'll just see how it goes. Just don't want to get pulled over. Something smells like it's on fire. Is that the truck outside? Yeah, it smells bad. That's not this, is it? That'd be bad. Transition points, you know, at like railroad tracks and stop signs, he's learning to go into what gear he needs to, you know, that just comes with time. Definitely getting better though. I hate the suspension on this car. I hate it. Rides like a 1920s truck. These nudge up points, like what he's doing right now, that's where, you know, you got to learn that. Takeoffs are way better, way smoother. Getting more comfortable going between gears. Alright, we'll leave them be, but shift light's in, it's working, even though it's on 3,000 RPMs, which makes no point. It's working. We're gonna go get some gas and roll around, and that should be it for this. The shift light didn't take too much to install, and it's been in there, guys, for, I don't know, a couple weeks now, I think. Yeah, 3 weeks, and no issues with it using two-sided tape, so we didn't have to drill a hole up there, which is really nice. We didn't really want to drill a hole since we replaced that panel because of holes. So after driving around a bit, we have made it back, and like I said, guys, he's getting a lot better at the driving. Look, you know, the whole deal was the shift light install, but I will tell you guys that, so once we knew it was working, I set it to $6,000. He went out with my dad and he thought it was broke. And I said, well, what do you mean? And he's like, well, it wouldn't light up. And so he set it back down to 3,500. So he had no idea that I set it to 6, which means he's not getting there. So that's good, right? As a parent, you know, like, and he's not went out really, he's went on his own a couple times, but not, I'm not letting him drive it all the time to school. I'm not letting him take it, you know, out and about on his own, really. We're generally around him when he's in it. So, you know, it's a respect thing as far as the car goes. This is a very powerful car for a kid that's 16, especially for one that's, you know, just learning how to drive. But anyway, he'll get there. He's getting there. He's getting a lot better. The transition between gears are a little slow still. Trying to figure out, you know, in those areas where you're rolling to a stop or rolling around a curve, where you need to come down into second, or what gear you need to be in. Does it need to be in third? Does it need to be in second? And he stays on the clutch a little long. You know, we talked about that earlier while we were driving, because there's a couple times he's afraid to let out because he's not sure what gear he needs to be in. So like in those situations, if he's in second and he really needs to be maybe in third going around a curve. He lets out of the clutch and it bogs down and slows down. But he's getting there. Like I said, a little bit at a time, little by little. We take it out and drive it quite a bit. My dad comes over, they go out and drive it around a lot. So we're miling it up. I will tell you guys that something popped up on our way home. We went to start it and it made a really odd noise. Almost sounds like the starter could be going out, which, hey, after killing it that many times, could be the problem. Anyway, if you guys are enjoying this stuff on this car, please go down there and smash that thumbs up button. If you are not subscribed, guys, go down there, hit the subscribe. Of course, like always, ring that bell icon. That notifies you every time we put up a new video on this or anything else. And stay tuned to see what we work on next.